In this hyper-competitive world, the urge to be successful is growing. People are working hard day and night to be successful in their respective fields. But only hard work cannot help you to achieve your goals. You have to be smart enough to work effectively and efficiently. You need to adopt certain strategies in life to achieve your targets. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have for the creation of good in your life, but if not used correctly, can also be the most destructive force in your life. To control your thoughts means to influence the way you live your life. Your mind, more specifically, your thoughts, affects your perception and therefore, your interpretation of reality. Unwanted thoughts can bring about a lot of anxiety and stress. There are many people who want to eliminate them. It's common to have difficulty finding the motivation to glance up whenever you're feeling depressed, under pressure, or other issues. Thus, this guide will help you to attain success with a positive outlook and the right mental attitude. Also, this is a great guide to think you with a rich mindset, which will lead to your dreams. So, let's get started. What is power of thought? How you navigate through life and how you feel largely depends on your thoughts. Your thoughts are immensely powerful. They determine how you feel, your decisions and your actions, every part of your life that you can control. Your thoughts are one of the most powerful tools you will ever have in changing your life. Let me explain why. Cognitive behavioral therapy model. The cognitive behavioral therapy model is one of the most important models in psychology. This model states that events lead to thoughts, thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to behavior, and behavior always has a consequence. It is not the events themselves that determine how you feel and behave. It is your thoughts about these events that trigger the sequence of feelings, behaviors, and consequences. As with every model, this model is a simplification of a complex and dynamic reality. However, it is very useful in understanding how the mind works. For instance, let's say you are lying in bed and you hear a loud bang. This is an event. If you then think to yourself it is a burglar, you probably feel scared. Your personality and past experiences will determine your actions, but let's say you freeze. You are feeling scared and are hide under the blankets. A likely consequence of this is that it will take you a long time to fall asleep and you will feel tired the next day. Event, lying in bed and hearing a loud bang. Thought, it is a burglar. Feeling, scared. Behavior, freeze. Consequences, taking a long time to fall asleep and feeling tired the next day. Thus, there will always be events and circumstances in your life that you cannot control. But if you learn to control your thoughts, your mood and behavior no longer depend on circumstances but on you. When you regain control over your thoughts, you regain control over your feelings and actions. Your thoughts shape your reality more than anything else. Therefore, not having control over your thoughts equals not having control over your life. Through practicing mindfulness, you will become more aware of your thoughts and regain control over them. By practicing kind and non-judgmental thinking, you are preventing the activation of the unsafe brain and you are regaining control over your feelings and behavior. This will put you back in control and allow you to reshape your life in any way that you want. How real can the mind be? We need to replace our thoughts like a mother would replace an unsafe toy for a baby. How does she do this easily? She replaces the toy with the child's next favorite toy, and we have to do that with our harmful thoughts. Harmful thoughts are always hurting us because they are taking us down. In the daytime, having negative or self-defeating thoughts creates our life, and instead of having a good life we create a bad life. Problem is, a high percentage of those thoughts can be sheer imagination. It's in my mind but not in true reality. So, I am imagining people don't like me, or I imagine people are talking about me and I accept that as the truth instead of discovering the truth. In the end I am creating it. I need to check in with what I'm thinking. Exactly what am I thinking? Unconsciously, without realizing. Then, I need to take responsibility for what I'm thinking. Even if someone thinks bad of me, that's their responsibility. But I should not let their thoughts and feelings affect me, and that's my responsibility. If someone is thinking badly, I can just give good wishes and have mercy for them. After all, they could trap in their own thinking and imagination as well. How you can change your thoughts. 1. Acceptance. Accept what you cannot change. 2. No comparison. We lose our identity in comparison. Another person's role is not the same as our role. 3. Check and change. This equals discrimination. The minute I begin to discriminate, I can change it immediately because I can see how bad it is if one continues to think like this. The past is like a debt. The future is not born yet. The quality of my thoughts will create the best future because it is a seed. Meditation charges our battery, the soul. So, fill the battery with positive thoughts. Like a favorite song you like to hear from the beginning of the day. Hearing this song makes you feel good for the whole day. Recharge yourself with meditation or good thoughts from the beginning of the day. Before you go to bed, review the day like a businessman. What is my profit and loss from the day? Review and decide for the next day. Peace is an awareness. So is negativity. All negative thoughts give us an awareness. So, each day, which thoughts do I want to have and which thoughts do I want to replace? Some people are afraid to be alone, but if we can make that connection to ourselves, we can begin to have a positive experience because we are coming into our own energy. By connecting to our higher self, we get hope, we know who we are and we get to feel comfortable. Trusting yourself, connecting with yourself is your highest level of being. 1. Serve through body, help them too. Serve through wealth, share the wealth of your spiritual wisdom lovingly like a friend. 3. Serve through words, lift them through words. 4. Serve through the mind is to serve vibrationally. By creating good vibes in my own life, I am able to lift others without any extra effort, and this is the highest form of service. The good wishes we have for others allows us to feel better through a bad situation. It also helps them too because it's always better to be surrounded by friends compared to people who don't approve of me or parts of me. Trusting others to work out their stuff is the practice of a friend. What are the principles of Think and Grow Rich? The major principles of Think and Grow Rich are clarity of purpose, focus, and persistence. One can apply the principles by following the action plan with a positive mindset. At the core of Think and Grow Rich are 13 principles, designed to help you unleash the power of your mind. By adopting and mastering these 13 principles of Think and Grow Rich, you can tap into the divine power of the universe, i.e., infinite intelligence. These principles are tools to hone and improve your mental faculties, and to help you connect to infinite intelligence. Once you learn to adopt the right frame of mind, you can receive insight and intuition from infinite intelligence. You can also learn to attract things, from wealth to a loving partner to more free time, using the power of your mind. The core of Think and Grow Rich's 13 principles is that thoughts are things. Moreover, thinking in a certain way gives you the power to magnetize and attract anything you desire into your life. By applying the below 13 principles, you can attract almost anything that you desire. Principle 1. Power of thoughts. Thoughts are powerful. What you think becomes your reality. We all have the power to control our thoughts, although many people don't use it. If you harness this power, you can become wealthy, or achieve what you seek. The way to achieve riches is to become success conscious, rather than failure conscious. 1. Start by concentrating your mind on a solo, clearly defined purpose, not on the multiple purposes that would dilute your focus. Choose one overriding life goal. 2. Try to achieve this goal with all your consuming desire, to the point that you think of little else and you devote all your time and energy to achieving it. 3. Finally, be persistent in pursuing your one goal or purpose. You will encounter setbacks but have faith in your goal and ability to achieve it and never give up on it. Principle 2. The burning desire. The first step to riches is having an all-consuming desire to achieve your specific goal or definite purpose. Hopes or wishes for something aren't enough. In fact, if your desire is no more than a wish, you're likely to quit striving for it when you hit roadblocks. You have to want something badly in order to achieve it. Your goal has to be overriding. You can only devote your full energy to a single goal at the same time. Principle 3. The unwavering faith. In addition to having an intense desire for riches or other success, you also must have an unwavering faith or belief in your goal and your ability to achieve it. Faith or belief is also one of the most important principles of Think and Grow Rich. Faith helps in converting our thoughts into reality. Faith works on a subconscious level and helps move you toward your goal. If you have faith in yourself and your plans to achieve wealth, it will prompt ideas and associations that lead you to success. But if you lack faith and believe the opposite, you'll defeat yourself. For instance, if you believe that you're doomed to poverty due to forces beyond your control, this negative belief will take over your mind. It will block out positive thoughts and desires that could help you overcome your circumstances, and you will fail to improve your current state. So, to achieve your goal, it's important to develop faith to propel you toward it and inspire others to work with you. You can develop faith through affirmation and visualization, which the author calls autosuggestion, that is, by constantly telling yourself you can succeed and by envisioning yourself succeeding. You eventually come to believe the things you repeat to yourself. If you write down your goal and repeat it frequently by reading it out loud, you'll reinforce it in your mind and convince your subconscious to act on it. Principle 4. Autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is synonymous with self-suggestion. It's the bridge between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Merely reading words aloud will have no impact. You have to attach emotion to the words. When reciting your affirmations, as laid out in the previous chapter, you must encourage your desire to consume you. Your subconscious will only act upon thoughts that are felt. Principle 5. Imagination. Within your imagination is where all plans are created and formed. The only limitation you face depends on how much you develop your imagination. There are two types of imagination, synthetic and creative. Through synthetic imagination, you reformulate existing concepts, ideas, and plans into new forms. Nothing is created in this form of imagination because it works with existing mental material. Creative imagination is what springs forth from hunches and inspiration. Within it, new ideas are formed. This type of imagination can only be reached when your conscious mind is being stimulated through desire. It's a muscle that must be trained. Ideas are the starting point for all fortunes, and they are the product of the imagination. It can be useful to look at some of the most successful companies of all time, such as Coca-Cola, and remind yourself that it once began as a single idea. Indeed, a truly wise salesperson will know that ideas can be traded where tangible merchandise cannot. Nearly all considerable fortunes begin when an individual with a great idea meets an individual who sells ideas. When matched with desire, ideas are unstoppable forces. They are more powerful than the brains that created them. Thus, you must listen, cultivate, and develop a desire to see them through. Principle 6, Organized planning. The first of the 6 steps for transforming desire into reality is the formation of a definite, practical plan. Once you have done this, it is critical that you ally yourself with a group of people as you may need for the creation and carrying out of your plan. These people are your mastermind alliance. Organized planning is one of the most important principles, because a person without a plan is like a ship without a course. With no place to go, disaster is a probability. Principle 7, Decision analysis. Of several hundred people who've accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark disclose the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and of changing these decisions slowly, if and when they were changed. Principle 8, Persistence. Persistence is simply the power of will. Willpower and desire, when properly combined, make an irresistible pair. Persistence is to an individual what carbon is to steel. In uncounted thousands of cases, persistence has stood as the difference between success and failure. It is the lack of this quality more than any other that keeps the majority from great accomplishment. As soon as the going gets tough, they fold. Principle 9, Mastermind. No two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third invisible, intangible force that may be likened to a third mind. You may have noticed many times that by discussing something with another person you suddenly get good ideas as a result of the discussion, ideas you would not have gotten without this association. Well, the same thing happens to the other person. A lot of good ideas have been born in individual minds as a result of having met in committee. Associating with your mastermind alliance is not meant as a means of letting others do your thinking for you, far from it. It is meant to stimulate your own thinking through the association with other minds. No one knows everything. The more sympathetic minds you get together, that is, minds working for a common purpose, the more related information is going to be available. Great ideas are a combination of related information. Principle 10, Transmutation. Here lies another one of the secrets hidden within this success system. There are certain emotions that evoke a mental state that allows access to infinite intelligence. Every feeling has a vibration, and for you to come into harmony with the universal mind, you must be resonating on the same frequency as what you want to receive. That means that if you want the infinite intelligence to give you more money, start feeling abundant now. Use powerful positive emotions to make your mind oscillate on a higher frequency, so that you can be in a position to ask for and receive what you really want. Therefore, be aware of your mental, emotional state and choose to transform your thoughts and feelings, degree by degree, step by step, into a higher, i.e., more positive frequency. Principle 11, Subconscious Mind. The subconscious mind is the power center of your mental activity. It has dominion over every vital function taking place in your miraculous body and brain. Always on the job, the subconscious mind processes material, energy, and thought and transforms it into living tissue to maintain life. The subconscious is also the part of the mind that transmutes ideas, plans, dreams, and desires into material form. When you visualize abundance, your subconscious is the part of your mind that draws on the force of infinite intelligence and manifests abundance for you. This is probably the most complex of the 13 principles of Think and Grow Rich. Principle 12, the brain. Your brain is similar to a radio. Just like a radio, your brain operates at specific set frequencies. In the case of your brain, these frequencies are emotions, love, hate, despair, fear, confidence, and more. A radio can only provide sound when the transmitter and receiver are set to the same frequency. In the same way, if you want your brain to provide wealth, then you have to make sure that your emotions reflect that frequency. If your brain is set to a frequency of despair and poverty, then that is all that you will be able to manifest via the infinite intelligence, because that's the only signal that the infinite intelligence sends that you will be able to pick up. But when you set your brain to a frequency of love, confidence, and feeling abundant, then you will naturally manifest those things. When we adjust our mental frequency, we have the ability to communicate, not just from one finite brain to another, but to the mind of infinite intelligence as well. Principle 13, the sixth sense. Achieving a complete understanding of the other 12 principles prepares you to receive guidance from an infallible source, namely infinite intelligence. When you're receiving guidance from this source, it's almost as though you develop a sixth sense that guides you, with unerring accuracy, to take the steps needed to manifest your desires. The idea of a secret in Think and Grow Rich, that once discovered and applied will literally sweep followers of this system onto success. In simpler words, if you have thoughts, convert them to desire, believe in what you desire, tell your mind every day what it needs to achieve, gain expert knowledge in the field that you desire, your subconscious will get creative and bless you with imagination and ways to get what you wish. Make a plan on steps you will take to achieve, make specific decisions, don't procrastinate, transmute all your energy to your desires through your subconscious mind. Empower and translate your thoughts to actions, process all positive thoughts of the brain, lock out the negative, and go by your hunches. The sixth sense. The key to success is to define a goal and to pour all of your energy, power, and effort into achieving it. It may take many years before you are successful, but if you hold on to your desire, you will eventually attain what you seek. Why the starting point of all accomplishment is desire? It is very simple. Desire gives you the motivation, driving power, ambition, and energy to pursue any goal, and not to give up or give in when you meet obstacles, opposition, or difficulties. Desire keeps you on track no matter what. A weak desire, wishing, and daydreaming, are not strong enough to carry you forward, day after day, until you achieve your desire. Desire is like a powerhouse that produces electricity. Without this powerhouse, you will probably not achieve much. When there is strong desire, you see the goal in front of you, and direct your attention and effort toward it. Steps essentials for attaining any definite goal. Merely wishing for money will get you nowhere. However, to desire riches by way of an obsessive goal, a meticulous plan, and not accepting failure as an option, you'll become rich. The essential steps to attain any definite goals are as follows. Step 1. Decide exactly how much money you wish to make. Step 2. Determine what you are willing to give to receive this amount of money. Steps 3. Formulate a plan of how to achieve your goal and begin at once whether you're prepared or not. Step 4. Write down above everything in a clear statement piece of paper. Step 5. Read the written statement twice a day, first in the morning and last thing at night. The only limitation for a person is set up in his mind. We sometimes tend to underestimate our own capabilities to attain great things, which limits the action we take. It is difficult to attain a goal if we start to limit ourselves. People with the limited mindset tend to work within their limit of comfort zone. No matter how tough it is to reach a goal, if you start believing in you, you can achieve it. The power of desire mixed with enduring faith is very strong. It's lift the people from low to high. The power of human mind is very enigmatic because it has the ability to use under any circumstances to transform desire into its physical counterparts. Why faith is the visualization for attainment of desire. Faith is the second step toward riches. Faith is the state of mind which can lead to belief in a thing. A mind dominated by positive emotions becomes a favorable abode for the state of mind known as faith. Having faith in yourself means believing that you can achieve whatever you desire. If you have a strong sense of faith, you are more likely to succeed in life. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. To develop faith, repetition is key. Keep telling yourself that you can achieve what you aim for, and your subconscious will translate that message into its physical equivalent, i.e., you will achieve that something. Understanding the actual power of faith. Faith is a state of mind which may be induced or created by affirmation or repeated instructions to the subconscious mind through the principle of autosuggestion. Repetition of affirmation of orders is the only method of voluntary development of the emotion of faith. Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. Faith is the basis of all miracles and all mysteries which cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. Faith is the element, the chemical which, when mixed with prayer, gives one direct communication with infinite intelligence. Faith is the element which transforms the ordinary vibration of thought, created by the finite mind of man, into the spiritual equivalent. Faith is the only agency through which the cosmic force of infinite intelligence can be harnessed and used by man. Faith, then, is just as important as the air we breathe. While the oxygen in the air nourishes the body, faith nourishes the heart and the soul. It's the energy that courses through every single fiber and cell within our beings. It's part of every muscle and every strand of thought. It is the fundamental foundation of our existence. Simply put, the importance of faith cannot be underestimated. People have moved mountains with their faith. Even when situations seemed dire and bleak, it was their faith that carried them through. There's little to no explanation for it in the physical realm. It's the metaphysical fiber that binds us all, carrying each of our deepest wishes and desires. That's where faith lives. Unfortunately, some people don't believe in things that they cannot see. They explain things away due to other causes and effects, failing to find the small miracles in life that exist and work in our favor on a constant basis. There's an enormous level of importance attributable to having faith in life. Plant a seed of faith, watch it grow. Faith isn't just a notion that some people hold on to in tough times. Faith is an important element to all human life on earth. Life is precious, but it can also be remarkably difficult at times. Faith is what helps to get us through, illuminating the pathway in times of darkness, helping to give us strength in times of weakness. Without faith, we are nothing. Here are 5 reasons why having faith is so important in life. 1. The focused power of faith breeds abundance. The mind is an incredibly powerful tool. It can be used for good, but also go to waste when neglected or abused. In times of trouble, we tend to move away from positivity. We go from a state of abundance to a state of lack. But faith is the tool that helps replenish abundance in the heart and the spirit, not just in the mind. Whatever it is that we focus on in life, we get more of. If we focus on problems, we live solely in those problems and have difficulty moving past the negativity. Alternatively, however, when we focus on positivity and seek out solutions, we can resolve our problems and move from a state of lack back to a state of abundance. When we train our minds to think in abundance, and we hold unwavering faith, we gravitate towards that. We attract good things because we believe and expect in good things to come. Similarly, when we believe and expect bad things to come, we also attract that into our lives. Faith is the pathway for abundance, so be sure to hold it at the forefront of your mind. Don't be afraid to expect the very best for yourself. This isn't about being selfish or aimlessly wishing for things. This is about the true, utter, deep down belief in your heart and your soul that things will improve, and that you deserve the very best in life. 2. Faith helps you to discover your purpose in life. Going through life and all of its ups and downs can take a toll on us. At times, it's enough to question our very existence. But through all of the trials and tribulations we might face, it's faith that gives us that helping hand. It works to guide us in the right direction, moving us towards and allowing us to discover our purpose in life. This doesn't happen overnight. Usually, when we're faced with a difficult situation, it gets harder before it gets better. Little by little, a part of us is broken, until one day, we dig deep down inside and somehow find the strength we needed to make it through. That strength comes from our faith. Whether it's your faith in God or in something else, that faith shall set you free. Everything in life is far easier to get through when we have faith. It's the guiding light that helps push us towards our purpose. 3. Faith trumps stress, anxiety, and fear. It's easy to allow stress, anxiety, and fear to run our lives. We go from moment to moment worried about one thing or another. Sometimes, those worries manifest themselves into highly stressful situations, causing not only mental anguish, but physical problems as well. There's a clear and documented connection between stress and the increased likelihood of disease and illness. When we allow our minds to move into that realm unchecked, there's no telling of the damage that can be done. But it's faith that helps to keep those things at bay. Even when we have no reason to believe that things will get better, it's through faith that our situations do improve. When you hold the utter expectation of that in your mind, no challenge is too difficult. Learn to harbor faith and use it to eliminate stress, anxiety, and fear. Think back to situations in the past when you made it through something you thought was insurmountable. Believe and expect that good things will happen, and they will. This isn't about ignoring your problems. This is about knowing that your situation will improve deep down inside your heart and your soul. 4. It acts as the pathway to finding solutions. Faith is the pathway to finding solutions in life. Keep in mind that human beings were made to thrive, and not just survive. If you're only surviving, there's far greater in store for you. There's a pathway to all of your solutions, and that pathway is steeped in faith and the expectation of greater things to come in time. No matter what the situation is, no matter how bad or dire you think it might seem, your faith can and will get you through it. You must accept that as fact, and hold on to the expectation of greater things to come. Don't stop pushing or searching for an answer to help resolve whatever situation you might be facing in your life. If you really want something in life, and I mean you really want it deep down inside and you have a strong enough reason you absolutely must achieve it, faith is the thing that helps you to see that through. It's at the core of a persistent heart. Never give up on your hopes and your dreams just because you faced some initial setbacks. Lean on your faith as often as possible and you'll soon come to realize why having unwavering faith is so important in life. What is autosuggestion? An autosuggestion is a positive suggestion given to the subconscious mind with regards to an incorrect thought, emotion, action, reaction, or both. By taking an autosuggestion, we give a tailor-made positive suggestion to our mind to counteract the negative impression so that the defect is eventually neutralized. Autosuggestions are important for overcoming personality defects in ourselves, when we are under stress due to personality defects in others, or when we are faced with a tougher life situation that cannot be changed. Autosuggestions not only help to overcome the present situations or negativity which one is faced with, but they also work for long-standing issues, such as addictions and childhood traumas. When taking autosuggestion sessions, we repeat positive suggestions in daily sessions, which helps to reduce negative impressions. Reducing the negative impression by taking autosuggestions does not automatically increase the opposite quality, and we would need to make efforts to develop the quality. For example, reducing my anger by taking autosuggestions would not automatically increase my love for others. This is analogous to how a sick person will get better by taking medicine, but they will not develop a bodybuilder's physique automatically. If the person wants to develop a muscular physique, they will need to do the appropriate exercises. Similarly, I would have to make conscious efforts to develop the quality of love for others even if my defect of anger reduces by taking autosuggestions. The power of autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the first step in accessing your infinite intelligence through the power of belief. Once you have built a strong mental foundation, you are now ready to operate on a level of elevated thought. Every human mind has a storehouse of ether, an abundant cosmic mass of infinite waves. When your thoughts are combined with a strong mental state of awareness, you develop a charismatic strength which appeals to, from the waves of ether, other complementary or relevant thoughts. When executed appropriately, every plan, idea, thought or purpose adds fuel to the fire. Belief is the material, the psychochemical, which when combined with devotion, grants an individual with a straightforward connection with infinite intelligence. Belief is the component which revolutionizes the traditional waves of thought, established by the finite perception of man, into the metaphysical equivalent. Belief is the only mechanism by way of which the limitless waves of infinite intelligence can be exploited and utilized by an individual. Every wave of thought, an individual's consciousness invites, from the waves of ether, a presenter of connections, adds these connections to its own waves, and cultivates it continuously until it matures into the domineering spark in the individual's consciousness it has been bestowed upon. Difference between affirmations. Autosuggestions and autosuggestions are similar in terms of their aim, they are only different in their approaches. With the positive affirmations, you affirm the positive statement as if it already holds true for you, whereas, with autosuggestions, you simply suggest a positive statement as if wanting to convince yourself of it. Say, for example, if you are feeling very weak. If you tell yourself I am strong, then you are unlikely to believe it since you are feeling weak. But if you address yourself as if speaking to someone else and say with encouragement, you are a strong person, then you sit up and listen. Stop reading now and try it out for yourself by using a first-person affirmation and a second-person suggestion for something you want to change within yourself. The difference will become very obvious. This is in no way intended to discourage you from using positive affirmations to reprogram the subconscious mind. Rather, autosuggestions are an alternative that you can use when you are facing inner resistance to reprogramming your mind, and a very powerful alternative at that. Autosuggestion techniques that can change your life. 1. Fine-tune your self-awareness. Awareness breeds curiosity. It allows us to tap into the mental resource required to differentiate between what's important and what's just noise. Fine-tuning your self-awareness is the first step in autosuggestion because it grants us the power to take aim at those autosuggestions that are beneficial for our mental well-being, while blocking out other unnecessary signals. Self-awareness is not to be confused with self-consciousness. Although both play a major role in our overall mental development, self-consciousness is the act of knowing yourself, and self-awareness is recognizing you are who you are. Your mental well-being, your perception of yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, and where you should improve. 2. Deploy the power of visualization. This technique probably has the most dynamic effect on the subconscious mind. When autosuggestion is combined with the power of visualization, it amplifies success and allows individuals to elevate to a new height. It is simple: relax your mind until you reach a meditative state. Then visualize your ultimate goals as you reaffirm your autosuggestions. Over time, you will recognize that your subconscious mind is driving you towards achieving those predisposed goals. It is important to keep it simple. Do not bombard your mind with an array of uncolored mental imagery. Remain within reason and visualize what you strive to attain. Autosuggestion will play its part and muscle in to manifest that actuality. 3. Establish a day-to-day program. Creating a routine within your life is invaluable. Consistency is key. The more you do something, the better you become at it and the more natural it feels. Every day that you utilize the techniques of autosuggestion, it allows you to add to the power of the law of attraction. You will without a doubt attract the necessary thoughts, ideas, and people to carry out your ultimate goals. Start out your morning with reaffirming thoughts. Once you awake, clear your mind and focus on your goals with a straightforward perspective, backed by persistence. Throughout your day, let your subconscious mind lead every conversation. You will notice the clear-cut progressions and how every situation bends your way. 4. Keep an adjustable way of thinking. Being locked into one way of thinking is obviously limiting. Stubbornness breeds resentment and doesn't allow for the opportunity for improvement. That viewpoint is not always as obvious for others. In your journey with autosuggestion, it is essential for you to have an adjustable way of thinking. In learning any new skill or technique, you have to be accessible to any result. The trick is to take everything that comes your way and use to your advantage in achieving your ultimate goal. No matter it be influences or autosuggestions from others, you have to be open to growing, learning and fine-tuning your approaches, so that nothing impedes your progress. This is true power. 5. Build an organization of mental advocates. Overall, you control your actions and your thoughts. The process of autosuggestion can be built upon by interacting with other individuals who believe in you or share similar outlooks on life. The saying is, stay close to people who feel like sunlight. Studies show that, deliberately or non-deliberately, we are still influenced by the autosuggestions of others. A person's energy is just as significant as the words they speak. Keep your energy in mind as well. Are you welcoming or blocking? This is where a high self-awareness can play a major role. Positive energy gives rise to positive influence. Inspiration is a powerful tool, especially when you have the infinite resources to keep building your organization up. 6. Reiterate your autosuggestions during the most susceptible moments. Autosuggestion opens you up to the idea of self-analyzation. It is in fair comparison to opening up your favorite book and skimming through. You might love the book overall, you know which chapters stick with you the most and you are keenly aware of what doesn't speak to you. Autosuggestion allows you to identify those moments where you're fully mindful and you recognize the need to double down on your reaffirmations. Through practice and repetition, moments like these become second nature and at the least common sense. Compelling autosuggestions can enable you to conquer any and all susceptible moments when they present themselves. 7. Adopt autosuggestion statements that voice devotion. The objective of this technique is to create a field of energy around your autosuggestions. When combined with a strong passion, love and belief, your subconscious mind thrives on that energy and becomes addicted to the experiences backed by your autosuggestions. The conclusion is that you develop a cutthroat focus on your day-to-day program and you notice a steady deterioration in the importance of a number of activities that take away from your focus. Autosuggestion is the most accessible way to recondition your subconscious mind to achieve your ultimate goals. 8. Recognize that the power of autosuggestion is always in full swing. Autosuggestion has become a part of our everyday lives. Through advertising and marketing, our subconscious mind is always being conditioned. The power of the human mind is this: autosuggestion in itself can change behavior. Overall, you have the power to benefit from these scientific facts. Anything we can foresee, we can subconsciously manifest into reality. Always keep in mind, visualization is a powerful tool in achieving our goals. When it is coupled with autosuggestion, anything is possible. Guidelines while framing autosuggestions. The following are the guidelines that need to be taken into consideration at the time of framing of guidelines for the autosuggestions. 1. Simplicity. Autosuggestions should be framed using simple language and a limited number of words. To give an analogy, have you ever tried looking at a sheet full of text or a complicated spreadsheet? Do we feel like reading it or looking at it? Our mind generally has some resistance to read it or it rejects it straight away. This is because the mind likes things that are easy or simple. Likewise, when giving suggestions to the mind, the suggestions should be simple and use a limited number of words, so it is easy for the mind to get the message. 2. Starts with whenever. Autosuggestions always begin with whenever, indicating a specific incident in future tense. Using whenever also gives alertness to the mind. For example, let us take the example of the mistake: I was feeling lazy and I postponed going for a walk. So, in framing an autosuggestion, we need to indicate that incident in the future tense as follows: whenever I feel like postponing going for a walk, and then we add what will be done to stop it. 3. Positivity. Autosuggestions should always be positive. Do not use words like don't, no, not, won't, can't, etc. For example, we should not say, I will not be angry. Instead, we can say, I will remain calm. This is because the mind has a rebellious nature, and when we tell our mind not do something, then it invariably wants to do that, but when we say the same thing in a positive way, then the mind is more receptive. 4. Specific autosuggestions should be specific and not generalized. Example, instead of "when people look at me and I become shy," we should state the exact incident, which is, "when Mary looks at me and I become shy." Referring to people in a general way does not have the same effect on us as being specific in an autosuggestion. The mind is not able to identify the exact emotion if the autosuggestion is general. 5. One defect at a time. In a given incident there may be more than one personality defect involved, but we give autosuggestions for one defect at a time. Let us take the example when my colleague did not help me with a project as he had promised earlier. I was emotional and felt dejected. Here the defects can be expectations, negative thinking, and emotionalism. However, when framing an autosuggestion, we can choose one defect out of these. We can select the defect based on which defect is having a greater impact on our well-being or on others overall. 6. Select defects as per frequency. When more than one incident is occurring for one defect, choose only one incident for the autosuggestion which occurs more often. For example, let us say I am working on anger and it is manifesting in numerous ways. However, the most common manifestation is I got angry when my son was watching television instead of doing his homework, because it happens every day. Then, I would choose this manifestation to work on. 7. Start with 3 As. To start, do at least 3 autosuggestion sessions every day. Write the autosuggestions and read them 5 times if you are unable to remember them. Later, we can increase the number to 5 autosuggestion sessions per day. We will cover this in more detail in the next section. What is exactly imagination? Imagination means the act or power of forming a mental image of something not present to the senses or never before wholly perceived in reality, a creative ability or the ability to confront and deal with a problem. Different types of imagination. The real engine of creative writing is the imagination. The capability to create new people from scratch, to put them into scenarios and to tell stories. If you are not able to imagine, you cannot able to write. It is the single most important thing for you to understand about your process. 1. Effectuative imagination combines information together to synergize new concepts and ideas. 2. Intellectual or constructive imagination is utilized when considering and developing hypotheses from different pieces of information or pondering over various issues of meaning, say in the areas of philosophy, management, or politics, etc. 3. Imaginative fantasy imagination creates and develops stories, pictures, poems, stage plays, and the building of the esoteric, etc. 4. Empathy imagination helps a person know emotionally what others are experiencing from their frame and reference. 5. Strategic imagination is concerned about vision of what could be, the ability to recognize and evaluate opportunities by turning them into mental scenarios. 6. Emotional imagination is concerned with manifesting emotional dispositions and extending them into emotional scenarios. 7. Dreams are an unconscious form of imagination made up of images, ideas, emotions, and sensations that occur during certain stages of sleep. 8. Memory reconstruction is the process of retrieving our memory of people, objects, and events. Why imagination plays a vital role? Imagination is a very important aspect of life. We have distanced ourselves from this wonderful phenomenon, blaming it on the rigors life forces on us. Every decision, every idea, every seed of opportunity begins with a thought in your mind. You and only you have the choice of recognizing and reimagining it to let the opportunity or idea work in your favor. Without the faculty of imagination, we human beings are nothing more than workhorses. Let us have a look at some of the reasons we attribute for having distanced ourselves from imagining in our day-to-day lives and ways to unchain ourselves from the same. Imagination is the door for our colorful future. All of us have a future. Irrespective of whether we are a pessimist or an optimist, all of us have a future. The main difference lies in the fact whether we are going to continue the present life as it is or change the same with our imagination. Pessimistic people get so immersed in their current life that the lack of imagination about their future forces them to continue living their current life in the future also. They continue to pay off their debts month on month, facing the same issues and troubles again and again every passing day. On the contrary, optimistic people pull them out of the clutches of the present turmoil. They decide to live a better life and start working towards the same. This gets fueled by their fertile imagination, which makes them live the life they actually want to live. Being passionate is not being irresponsible. We humans have grown up witnessing our earlier generations live a life filled with concerns and problems. Our life experiences teach us the importance of being responsible. Our survival instincts are always on the alert mode. We strive hard to survive the challenges life continuously throws at us. Such a life steals the desire to be passionate about things, making survival our priority over the same. Due to the fear of failing in life, we fail to imagine in life. Remember, being passionate about something and dedicating time to imagine about the success you could have been, not a pointer to being irresponsible. Your passionate imagination can act as a source of fire for your better future, making you more responsible in developing worthy habits and work ethic. Experience the magic. Allow a young child to sit in the bathtub and observe him staying away from his sight. You will be stunned to notice that he is sailing in a deep blue sea, winning the many sea monsters that attack him. He will save his princess and enjoy the gentle sea breeze with her. Give him a dismantled cardboard box and you will see him launch a rocket into the faraway dark space. The scientist in him will make all the adjustments in an imaginary manner so the rocket reaches its target successfully. The imaginary joy that the child enjoys in these activities has no equivalence. This is what you have been missing as an adult. The child's imagination changes his life moments into magical ones. He seems to have mastered the art of creating and enjoying this magic in all his activities. Is it mandatory to lose the child in you just because you have grown up? Is it not possible to bring back your childhood and enjoy the lighter side of life while still being responsible for your current life? Think and experience the magic. Imagination helps us to think out of the box. When is the last time we have done anything different in our life? We have been running the race every passing day to earn the much lauded money. We have been lamenting over the lack of money as we get near to most month ends. We have continued to pay dues towards our responsibilities with the time wrapping up each chapter of our lives, repeating the experience every single day. Understand that growth is possible only when we evolve mentally. We who paid our bills manually till some time back do the same through the internet and smartphone applications. The reason for this advancement is the creativity of that someone who has imagined life from a futuristic angle. His imagination paved way to think about applications that would simplify the lives of millions of people around the globe. Thinking out of the box is a basic requisite to be creative in life. Being creative in life fosters boundless imagination, which acts as the basic force to change our future towards positivity. Escape from the illusionary reality. Not all of us really enjoy the life we are currently living, since life sucks many a times. Sexual harassments, crimes, violence, poverty, politics, child abuse and many such things disallow us to see life as a boon. However optimistic we are by nature, we tend to look at life as a negative space filled with vices. In the process, we just withdraw into our shell, burying our creativity deep underneath inside us. This is how we lose our touch with imagination and tend to run a race that has no real value-adding goal to reach. Imagination is an excellent tool that can help you escape from the gruesome reality. Elope with imagination, escaping from the sickening reality whenever you can. How to enhance your imagination? Imagination is helpful in envisioning. It is said that the imagination is a portal through which you can transcend the imposed limitations of this world. With wisdom and will, whatever you can imagine, and continue to imagine, can become real. Here are the certain ways by which one can enhance its imagination for better creative thinking. Open your mind to unexplored paths. Creativity is often tagged together with originality. To come up with new ideas may be challenging and even oftentimes daunting, as unexplored paths may pose unexpected threats. It is also an avenue where one can find genuine ideas that can result to a successful endeavor. Read more. Creativity and imagination are sparked by learning. One's willingness to learn new things gauges one's ability to accept and adapt to change. It improves one's adaptability to imaginative reasoning and creative thinking. Tell stories. People love to listen to stories, and each person has a story to tell. Practice imaginative and creative thinking by telling as many stories as you can. Let it be descriptive. Let it allow you and your listener to visualize what is being told. Visualization is an important part of increasing imagination. Visualization is often perceived as one's ability to create a clear and vivid picture in the mind. Yet this concept entails various senses as well. Visualization also involves one's sense of touch, smell, taste, and other senses. Visualization enables you to imagine the story being told or the object being described. The more imaginative and creative the mind becomes, the more elaborate one's visualizations can be. Be curious. Learning new things sparks creativity and increases imagination. A part of learning new things is being curious. Children tend to be more imaginative because of their curious nature. Our inherent nature to seek answers or to learn new things does not disappear over age. Feed curiosity by learning and experiencing new things, and notice how your imagination improves. Feed your curiosity by asking questions and build your ideas with the help of insight from others. Don't be afraid to try something new. It is often said that if you keep on doing the same things, then you will keep on receiving the same things. Challenge yourself to experience new things or embark on new adventures and endeavors. Expand your interests. Creativity is fueled by passion. Expand your interests by shifting your focus to include other interests that you may be passionate about. Develop your talents. Everyone has a set of skills or talents. Focus on developing and honing these talents to express your creativity and imagination in areas that you excel in or in things that you know how to do best. Spend time with creative people. Synergize your energies by spending time with people who share the same interest as yours. Brainstorming, planning, or simply talking to people will keep creative juices running, giving new and fresh ideas. Look at things differently at the points when you feel tired or bored, and you feel that your creativity is running low. Look at things in a new perspective. This will give you a fresh approach to things that may even trigger new ideas that you once thought was not possible. Condition your mind to relax through meditation techniques. A well-rested mind has a higher potential to learn new things and come up with more creative ideas. There are various meditation methods that you can do to help increase imagination. How to use imagination. Transmute ideas into reality. Mind is a very powerful tool. Being a strong platform for imagination, human mind acts as a tool to transform our ideas into reality. We can consciously make our imaginations come true by working on certain aspects of our thinking process. When you are bogged down by real-time issues, you will not be able to focus in daydreaming or constructive imagination. Address your current problems by finding out creative solutions to the same. Imagine what you want to achieve as frequently as possible. The more you imagine about a thing, the clearer the picture becomes. Learn to imagine what you want to happen in reality. This technique is called visualization. As you master this technique, you will feel positive towards achieving what you see in your imagination. Exhibit consistency in visualizing the same thoughts again and again till they become the reality. Ensure that your visualization gets stronger every passing day, since even an iota of doubt about the possibility will push you away from your end goal. Take into account your positive attributes, work ethic, and base your imagination on the same. This will make the present and the future complement each other in a mutually cohesive manner. Interact with your subconscious as frequently as possible. Such open interactions will emphasize your priorities to your subconscious, which will automatically pull you towards your goal. Practice transcendental meditation for the same. During the process of imagination or visualization, never get bogged down looking at the challenges that obstruct your way. Your faith in your dreams will help you surmount all challenges which might have appeared impossible at one point of time. Avoid getting afraid of crossing limits and doing things that you have not ventured out to so far. Remember, traveling that extra mile might require you to cross borders. Visualize again and again, increasing your focus on the minute things that fill your mental picture. Feel it through all your senses so you know you are already there. Unleash the child in you freely without any inhibitions, since your mental world is out of all criticisms. This will inject high level of confidence in you to imagine what you really want to achieve without any compromise or withdrawal. What is organized planning? Organized planning is the process of defining a company's reason for existing, setting goals aimed at realizing full potential, and creating increasingly discrete tasks to meet those goals. Each phase of planning is a subset of the prior, with strategic planning being the foremost. Planning is cyclical continuous in the highest form. Planning is cyclical and continuous as illustrated in the following diagram. 1. Envision the end state. Before any plan can be drafted, you have envisioned what it is you want at the end of it all. What is the vision? Imagine you have completed a journey. What do things look like as a result of the journey you just took as a result of your being there? Think in ideal terms when envisioning the end state. 2. Assess the current state. Once we have envisioned the end state, we are eager to just get going, either moving straight to the execution phases for which there is yet no plan, or jumping into planning without taking a full inventory of the current situation. We get in the car without considering the fact that the tires are shot and we have a 3,000-mile drive ahead. Slow down. Invest the time up front to take an honest, critical assessment of the current state. Arrive safe. 3. Agree on the gap. Effective mastermind group and problem-solving techniques such as design thinking seek to avoid the temptation of problem-solving before there is consensus on what the problem actually is. Our tendency is to problem-solve for a symptom, as opposed to determining the root cause. The same is true in business or personal planning. True, the overarching purpose of the plan is to achieve the envisioned end state. But the underlying goal of the plan is to close the gap between reality and vision. You can't do that if you don't know the gap. 4. Devise a plan to close the gap. Now you are ready to develop the plan. Plans don't have to be lengthy and complex, but they do have to be actionable. Hill says this about them: the most intelligent man living cannot succeed in accumulating money nor in any other undertaking without plans which are practical and workable. 5. Execute to the plan. If all you do is develop a plan, there is some value because you have at least critically thought about the end state and the path forward, so now it is part of your psyche, even if buried somewhere in the recesses of your mind. But much of the value is lost if you ignore the plan from that point on. Measure your progress against your plan, make adjustments accordingly, and keep pushing forward. The process is never ending because the realities that surround us, whether in our control, within our ability to influence, or completely outside of our control, change constantly. So, our plans have to change as well. A plan is no guarantee to success, it can mitigate the risk. A plan is not a guarantee of success. Saying, temporary defeat should mean only one thing, the certain knowledge that there is something wrong with your plan. He suggests to the reader that if the first plan fails, develop another one. Then another, and another until it succeeds. I differ slightly because the inference from his statement is that you run the plan until it succeeds or fails, and then develop another plan and run it until it succeeds or fails. But the plan is a living, breathing document. While it is true that sometimes you need to scrap the plan entirely and start over, more often, adjusting the plan, as you work it, is an effective approach. The importance of measuring progress is to know if you are moving in the right direction. If so, keep going. If not, adjust. Don't wait until the end to ask, did I make it? Did that work? A plan, at its core, is a forecast. Like any forecast, it is filled with assumptions, educated guesses, any one or more of which could be wrong. How might our assumptions be wrong, and what happens when they are? That is called risk. When it comes to risk, we have two choices: proactively plan for it, or react to it when it becomes reality. The best approach is to proactively plan for it. In doing so, consider and include the following in your plan. 1. What is the assumption? 2. If the assumption proves incorrect, what risk does it introduce to your plan? 3. What is the likelihood the risk will occur: high, medium, low? 4. What is the impact if the risk does occur: high, medium, low? 5. What will you do to avoid the risk altogether or minimize its impact if it occurs? There is no way to plan for every possible threat risk to your plan, but if you consider some of the major ones, it will better prepare you for any that may occur. How to take decision to better your life. Decision-making is likely continue to be a major challenge. Decision-making was and will likely continue to be a major challenge in every collaborative effort. A big complication that often gets in the way of making good decisions is deciding how to decide. Meaning, what decision-making process one should follow. Deciding how to decide is difficult because there is no one-size-fits-all decision-making process. Picking the right one depends on the situation. Decision-making processes consist of two core stages and a few additional ones at the beginning and end. 1. Identifying and exploring various options. 2. Making the decision, choosing between the options. The optimal process for each of the core stages depends on different attributes of the situation at hand. The ABCDs of categorizing decisions. Big bet decisions with major consequences for the corporation often involve situations with unclear right or wrong choices. Cross-cutting decisions that are frequent and necessitate broad collaboration across organizational boundaries. Ad hoc decisions that arise episodically impact on broader organization depends upon how concentrated they are. Delegated decisions that can be assigned to individual, primarily accountable, or to the team. Steps to take better decision. 1. Identify your goal. People who aren't self-reflective are going to end up making bad decisions because they don't really know what they want in the first place. Before you switch jobs, ask yourself, do I really want a different career? Or do I just want a different boss? Don't make a decision based on the wrong problem. 2. Gather relevant information. Once you have identified your decision, it's time to gather the information relevant to that choice. Do an internal assessment, seeing where your organization has succeeded and failed in areas related to your decision. Also, seek information from external sources, including studies, market research, and, in some cases, evaluation from paid consultants. Keep in mind, you can become bogged down by too much information and that might only complicate the process. 3. Identify the alternatives. With relevant information now at your fingertips, identify possible solutions to your problem. There is usually more than one option to consider when trying to meet a goal. For example, if your company is trying to gain more engagement on social media, your alternatives could include paid social advertisements, a change in your organic social media strategy, or a combination of the two. 4. Weigh the evidence. Once you have identified multiple alternatives, weigh the evidence for or against said alternatives. See what companies have done in the past to succeed in these areas, and take a good look at your organization's own wins and losses. Identify potential pitfalls for each of your alternatives, and weigh those against the possible rewards. 5. Choose among alternatives. Here is the part of the decision-making process where you actually make the decision. Hopefully, you've identified and clarified what decision needs to be made, gathered all relevant information, and developed and considered the potential paths to take. You should be prepared to choose. 6. Take action once you've made your decision, act on it. Develop a plan to make your decision tangible and achievable. Develop a project plan related to your decision, and then assign tasks to your team. 7. Review your decision after a predetermined amount of time which you defined in step 1 of the decision-making processes. Take an honest look back at your decision. Did you solve the problem? Did you answer the question? Did you meet your goals? If so, take note of what worked for future reference. If not, learn from your mistakes as you begin the decision-making process again. Ways to develop persistence. Persistence is an essential life skill. Persevering in the face of challenges and obstacles is necessary if you want to achieve your life goals and be successful. The suggestions below are intended to help you see how you can develop persistence and to use it to help you improve your whole life. 1. Develop a positive mental attitude. To achieve anything in life, you have to first believe you can do it. Believe and achieve, as the saying goes. The way you think affects the way you behave. By believing in yourself, you automatically increase the chances of your success. 2. Hire a mentor or coach. Find someone with the knowledge and skills to work with you to achieve your goals. You will be challenged and held accountable, which will motivate you and help you stay on track. 3. Develop discipline. This is an important trait to describes discipline as the bridge between goals and habit. If you develop discipline, then you will increase your commitment and your practice. Discipline will help you stay on course to achieve your goal. 4. Create a vision. You need to be able to see your goal and how your life will change once you achieve it. You also need to see the bigger picture. How will your achievement affect the people around you? Consider your family, friends, and colleagues. Will your relationships change? By looking beyond yourself, you increase what is at stake. And achieving your goal becomes more important. 5. Cultivate a growth mindset. It's important that you're not only thinking positively but that you cultivate a growth mindset. This means that you are able to cope with change and have the ability to react and adjust your plans as necessary. Planning is necessary, but you need to be able to adapt and adjust to any change in circumstances that may happen. 6. Find a positive role model. Find someone who is successful and study how they have achieved their goals. What is it that you admire about them? Look at their habits and model them. Remember, success doesn't just happen, it takes time, effort, and persistence. It will also give you greater insight into how they achieved their goals and what habits helped them. 7. Know yourself. Understanding yourself can help you remove traits that may hinder your progress. Do you procrastinate? How do you work best? Think about all the ways you may prevent yourself from achieving your goals. Consider how to remove or change them. Don't just focus on the negative traits though. Acknowledge the positive ones, and work out how to use them to keep you on track. 8. Have passion. Without passion you won't stick with your goal. Persistence requires action, and that can be extremely difficult to sustain long term. You must be emotionally attached to the end result if you want to have the patience to be successful. 9. Be a lifelong learner. An inquiring mind is important to growth. Make sure to read and take training courses to expand your knowledge and skills. This will also help develop a creative mindset that can help you expand your horizons. 10. Engage in positive self-talk. That little voice in your head can be the biggest hindrance of all to your level of success. Remember to think positively and turn your negative thoughts into positive ones. If you need help with this, consider learning about neuro-linguistic programming. Factors influence persistence. 1. Interest. One of the top factors that have an effect on academic persistence is interest. Aside from enjoyment, interest also includes one's certainty in taking that particular course, which affects the student's likelihood of sticking to it instead of dropping out. 2. External circumstances. Another huge factor is the occurrence of life events outside of their academics, such as a parent getting ill. Striking moments in the student's campus life can also cause stress and becomes detrimental to persistence, such as the exam period or the release of exam results. It's because these happenings are emotionally charged, which can influence a person's ability. 3. Social support. Lastly, the study has found that there's also a social factor to persistence. When students get a strong sense of support from their social connections, then they are more likely to feel energized to perform well at school. How to be more persistent? For you to be successful in persisting, here are the simple steps that need to be followed. 1. Dream big. Start small. It's important to have a vision and plan your way into achieving it. It will give you a sense of direction, but don't get too lost in trying to tackle your goals on the get-go. Yes, you must dream big. But remember that you won't get there if you don't start with the least amount of work possible. Aside from avoiding being overwhelmed, doing small tasks can also get us through the day. Not the week, not the year, just the day. It's easy to get burned out when we keep on working without seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But the key to this is just lighting a little flame and taking it one step at a time. 2. Know the reason behind your goals. The secret to doing more is having a source of motivation. And this motivation lies in the reasons why we're doing something in the first place. Remember, reasons reap results. To persist is to keep coming back to the whys and letting them fuel us to keep going. It's not easy to pursue something when everyone seems to be at a standstill. But I always go back to my reasons as to why I want to continue my studies. I have a purpose, and that is to help others who are struggling with their mental health and to remind them what it's like to be human. And, whenever I think about that, I just feel like there's no time to be wasted. I can power through this. 3. Rest, don't quit. I'm a big believer in taking conscious breaks. It's important that we allow ourselves to rest in between our attempts at conquering the world. As they say, we can't give what we don't have. So, how can we persist towards our goals when we're already running low inside? One of the most important lessons I've learned about persistence is that taking a break doesn't mean we're quitting. It doesn't mean that we're losing time or we're being lazy. For me, rest is an integral part of the process and not a detriment to it. So, if you're currently struggling with pursuing your goal or completing a task, perhaps it's your inner self telling you that it's time to recharge before you make another move. 4. Find different solutions to your setbacks. Sometimes, we get too stubborn or rigid when it comes to sticking to our goals. But it can be more beneficial to keep an open perspective and find a different route to our destination. We have to determine when something is no longer working. It doesn't mean that we've made the wrong decision, it only means that there must be another way. We have to be creative in this part of the process. Maybe the right tools are not available to us, so we have to craft them ourselves. Or, perhaps, we don't have to follow the traditional course, so we can forge our own path. Doing the same things over and over again without seeing results can also hinder our persistence. If we find fresh solutions, then it can also help ignite a newfound energy that will keep us going. 5. Don't be afraid to start again. Starting again doesn't mean that you have failed. While it may take you longer to get to where you want to be, it's also an opportunity to identify your mistakes and, perhaps, go through the process much smoother the second time around. The mind is one thing that has always fascinated and puzzled us. It is the only thing that we can be certain of existing, yet, apparently, we do not know exactly what it is, how it occurs, and why it occurs. This is in contrast to things outside the mind, such as houses, cars, and even other people, which we cannot be certain that they really exist. They may be just illusions, yet, apparently, we know what they are, how they occur, and why they occur. What is more, the phenomena of qualia and consciousness, such as the red color as it appears phenomenally red in our mind and our phenomenal conscious awareness and experience of that red color, have always been baffling. What is their nature, how and why do they occur, and cannot there be just the mind without them? Fortunately, with centuries of studying these matters, first by philosophers and later also by neurologists, neuroscientists, and other scientists in related fields, we now have a wealth of scientific evidence and concepts that are complete enough to form a theory that can answer these great puzzles. The basic theory of the mind based on the wealth of scientific evidence and concepts, this theory has been formed. Its essence is as follows. 1. From the physical properties of the mind and those of the brain, the alive, processing brain, it can be concluded that the mind always occurs, exists, and functions with the brain, and that the brain always occurs, exists, and functions with the mind. Both never occur alone without the other. They are a unity. Each is the intrinsic, equivalent, but different non-material versus material aspect of this unity. 2. From the physical properties of the mind and those of the brain's information processing processes, which are non-material processes, it can be concluded that the mind is the composite of the information processing processes of the brain. How to use the power of the subconscious mind. 1. Don't bother completing that negative thought. Just stop it right there and change it to a happy, positive thought. Yes, I know it's difficult, but you can, with practice and patience. In ancient India, it was believed that there are angels everywhere who are simply waiting to grant people their wishes. So, if you say, I'm going to have a really hard day, watch out. There could be an angel nearby that is only too pleased to grant your wish. 2. Think positive and only think good. Sometimes it's not possible. Then just relax. If negative thoughts come, let them. Envelop yourself and emit positivity through meditation, faith in a benevolent higher power and yourself. 3. Start the day on a positive note. Look at your hands every morning, and tell yourself, these hands are going to do amazing work. 4. Every night, meditate for 10 minutes before turning in and be grateful. It doesn't matter how your day went, what challenges you had, and the failures. Just be grateful. And be happy. You've got a lot going for you in the present moment, right here and right now. 5. Meditate. Yes, you got that right. Our subconscious mind is a storehouse of our feelings, experiences, and thoughts. And we're all human. Events and people will leave their residue on us. It's natural. Just use meditation as a special detox for your subconscious. Meditation does a whole lot more. Know that it does a lot of good, and your subconscious will love your practice of meditation. 6. Sleep well. A lack of sleep can pressurize the body and mind to function at their optimal levels when actually, they are exhausted. An exhausted mind is susceptible to irritation, anger, and negativity. An exhausted body is depleting its reserves. Sleep for at least 6-8 hours to help program yourself to a positive state of life. 7. Think big. Dream larger than life. And know that focusing on a goal that has a good intention is the best thing ever. It will give you a sense of purpose, strength to overcome challenges and lift your mind from small, petty issues in life. Common types of fear that can destroy you and its solution. 1. Fear of poverty. The first of the 6 basic fears are the fear of poverty. This is a prevailing fear, especially when you're in a state of struggle and lack. For example, when you lose your job and you're unable to find a way to make money, the fear of poverty moves in, taking permanent residence in the mind. In fact, this fear is always there to some extent, but it lives primarily in the subconscious mind. The starting point of all achievement is desire. It's also evident that deep-rooted fears can crush just about any goal. When you know you need to take action but you're stricken by the fear of what-if scenarios, then clearly, it becomes nearly impossible to extricate yourself from that self-imposed prison. But if you don't, no amount of desire will lead to achievement. You'll feel stuck and constantly in a rut. This fear of poverty, you need to use a positive mindset by just deciding you'll make money ethically. How can you go about doing this? Simple. Find a problem that's permeating a subset of society, and solve that problem. If you can find a massive problem plaguing even more people, then by solving that problem you'll accumulate even more wealth. The truth is that the more value you can provide to the world by solving big problems, the more money you'll make. 2. Fear of criticism. I'm not sure about you, but this one hit home for me. For a large part of my youth, I struggled with the fear of being criticized. If people were laughing nearby, I was almost certain it was at my expense. This has a big part to do with how much I was bullied in grade school. Although I've largely shed this skin, there is still a hint of this that resides within me. While I attribute some of this to being conscientious about things like my appearance and putting my best foot forward, this still nags at me from time to time. However, there are extreme versions of the fear of being criticized. Those versions inhibit people from doing something that they know will take them to the next level in life. In order to break free, and truly achieve your wildest dreams, Hill states that you have to decide to not care about the opinion of others. As difficult as this might be, this fear of criticism, especially for some people, can be paralyzing, to say the least. Simply put, we need to realize that others' opinions of us just does not matter. As long as you are doing right by you, and you aren't doing something illegal or unethical to earn an income, then get out there and do something that frightens you. For me, it was first starting this blog. Then, starting my podcast. But the ultimate fear that I overcame was when I started regularly speaking in public at masterminds and events. I can assure you that breaking free from these chains is the most liberating and euphoric experiences you can ever go through in life. 3. Fear of ill health. The unfortunate truth about life is that it's not permanent. At least not today it isn't. We're here one moment, then gone the next. Sure, in 1,000 years from now we might all be living forever. But, right here, and right now, we are only walking on this earth for a limited time. You'll have roughly 80 to 100 years to exist. During that time, you're likely going to fear getting sick or ill or contracting some life-threatening disease. However, the path forward is in the simple act of deciding what to focus on. The truth is that our minds are very powerful. In fact, they can heal a variety of illnesses. But, too often, when we focus on the wall, we're going to hit the wall. We can make things worse by allowing our mind to reel and spin out of control, going off on dangerous tangents of negative thinking. 4. Fear of loss of love. Sometimes, when you're struggling to achieve what you desire in life, you're stricken with the fear of loss of love. Believe me, the loss of love hurts. But the fear of it hurts far more. The truth? We can manifest the loss of love into reality with our minds. I know it because I've done it. I've lost love by fearing it to come to pass, and eventually it did. You see, as you think, so you shall become. However, we shouldn't base our happiness on another person. Happiness comes from within. It should not be relied upon from an external source. If that's the situation, then you need to do some deep soul searching. But, more importantly, think love-based thoughts and put love out into the world and you will certainly get it back in return. Don't fear the things you cannot change in life. Especially the loss of love. Sometimes, bad things happen in life. And, when we're going through that storm, we don't feel like there's a rhyme or reason for it that we can understand at the moment. However, in time, the reason often reveals itself. God's plan is much bigger and brighter than your own plan, so don't fear what you cannot change. And if you're going through tough times, understand that this too shall pass. 5. Fear of old age. The fifth fear that Hill talks about is the fear of old age. Considering that none of us are getting any younger, we are all hurtling towards our impending demise. The one thing we all have in common is that we will eventually die. As morbid as those sounds, it is God's honest truth. However, it's not about whether we will die or not, it's about whether we will live. Are you being present or are you living in a state of resentment, animosity, guilt, anxiety, or fear? Truth be told, none of those things serves us very well. They only help us to age just a bit more every single day. Hill says that we should simply decide that our old age is a blessing rather than being afraid of aging. Wisdom comes over time and age is most certainly nothing but a number. But by fearing old age, it will get you nowhere fast. Instead, embrace your age. Look at it as an advantage rather than a disadvantage. Again, it's all in the mindset. 6. Fear of death. The fear of death is ubiquitous. It's part of our genetic makeup. The fight or flight instinct. We have that for a reason. It's because we were built to survive. Those alarms that go off when something just isn't right, go off for a reason. However, that doesn't mean you should spend your days fearing impending death. You could die today or 100 years from now. No one knows because anything could happen. Rather than worry about it, embrace life today, in this present moment. You need to accept death as a fact rather than fearing it. You see, we all have a limited time. It's not about how much time is left, but how you use the time that's left. That's what matters. You have to decide, today, right here and right now, that you're going to live. Chase your dreams. Live passionately. And go out and make a mark on the world. There's a reason why you're here. Find that reason. Embrace it. And do something remarkable in life. This book is a masterpiece and all points in this book should be considered with great detail. The book is also very subjective, the message may vary from reader to reader. However, the basic message of the book is the cycle that is created using these principles. It creates a pyramid of desire, faith, action, decisions. All this continues because of persistence. Once a person has a crystal clear vision of where he wants to be, that produces a burning desire within him. This desire should be backed by faith and specialized knowledge, creating some action or leading to certain decisions. It also makes the reader realize that there will be a lot of obstacles that one will have to face while achieving something. These obstacles are not only external but internal as well. Feelings and emotions such as fear, anxiety, indecisiveness, etc. are the main hurdles one may face. Other than this, the book talks about the stories of many successful people and aims at making his audience understand how these principles actually work when applied. Taking into account the real-life situations and incidences, authentic, and proof-based. This not only motivates the reader but also prevents him from thinking about it as baseless preaching. Click here to grab Think Grow Rich HD Training Video 127. Click here to grab Think Grow Rich HD Training Video.